Welcome to the world of the amazing animal year.
Now, I know I put them in here somewhere.
What did you lose, Henry?
Got 'em!
Are you sure it's the right time of year for sunglasses?
What do you mean? Huh?
I tried to warn you.
Thanks a lot.
Maybe now would be a good time to sort your closet out. You know, warm for winter and cool for summer.
Hey, I'm always cool.
But the weather isn't. You need to be prepared for the different times of the year. Look, check out this calendar.
All right, the 4 seasons. Winter, spring, summer, and autumn.
Don't you mean fall, Henry?
You just had to say fall, didn't you?
You okay, Henry?
Sure, but only because I landed on this pile of leaves.
There are a lot of dead leaves on the ground in the fall. That's how animals know when winter's coming. It means they can prepare for the cold or maybe even get away from it.
But they'll miss out on all the fun. Tobogganing, snowballing, building snow lizards.
Animals have other things to worry about in the winter, like keeping warm, finding food.
And standing up by the looks of it.
But winter doesn't last forever. Soon comes spring, and then summer, and then back to fall again. Seasons can start during different months of the year, depending on where you are in the world. Where you are can also affect the length of each season, but the seasons do always occur in the same sequence, so the animals know one thing for sure, exactly what season is coming up next.
Raw! Raw! Raw!
Summer! All right!
Are you sure, Henry?
Summertime, and the living is easy.
I think you'll find it's winter.
Smart guy! Boy, it sure is cold.
I warned you, Henry. You've got to wrap up warm when you go out in winter.
Yeah? Well, I've got a better idea.
Henry? Henry!
Keep it down, will ya? I'm trying to sleep.
I suppose staying in bed is one way to deal with the cold.
You better believe it. Now, don't forget to wake me up when winter's over, okay?
Okay, Henry, have a nice sleep. Of course, not all animals sleep through the winter like your friend the bear. For many animals, winter is a really tough time, especially when it comes to finding food.
Hey, is Santa here?
Sorry, Henry, those aren't actually reindeer. They're called caribou.
Oh, right. On a skiing vacation, huh?
Not exactly. They're looking for food, but there isn't much around in the Arctic winter. These caribou won't survive long. They need to get to the food and shelter that a forest can provide.
So they've got to take a little walk. Big deal.
It is a big deal when the nearest forests are over 1,000 miles away. And to get there, the caribou have to battle against freezing blizzards.
Excuse me, but that's amazing.
It sure is.
Yeah, amazingly dumb walking to food. Why don't they just dial for pizza?
Henry, there are some problems that can't be solved with pizza.
Oh, yeah? Really? Nah, you're kidding. He's not going to swim in that, is he? He is! He must be crazy!
No, he's just very well insulated. Some animals can adapt to these harsh conditions, you know.
Wait a minute. I could adapt.
Yeah, right. With 15 overcoats and a barrel of coffee, maybe.
Hey, I gotta have some home comforts.
Well, so do beavers. They live in a very snug home called a lodge.
Doesn't look so snug to me. It was covered with snow.
That snow actually keeps them warm.
What?
Snow may be cold, but a thick layer of it can work just like a blanket, keeping the warmth inside and the freezing wind outside, all the way through to the spring.
Yeah, but where do they plug in the VCR?
Oh, Henry? Henry! Henry! Wake up! It's spring!
Huh? Spring? Great! No more winter!
Well, that's the good news.
What's the bad news?
It's spring cleaning time!
Oh,
Oh, yes.
no! Sheesh! You're worse than my mom! There! Clean at last!
Great job, Henry, but
But what?
don't you think you should have checked before you hung all your washing outside?
Checked? Checked what?
The weather forecast. Spring isn't always sunny, you know.
Oh no! It's raining! Rats!
Rain showers are a pretty regular feature in springtime, Henry. You should know that.
Of course I did.
In many countries, the first sign that spring is on its way is when all the snow and ice melts.
Sounds like spring can get pretty wet.
Yeah, but at least the new warmth can take your mind off those soggy feet.
Talking of soggy feet, it's those caribou again. You think they formed a swim club?
They're not in a swim club, Henry. The caribou are just starting to head back to the Arctic. When they passed this way in the winter, the river was only a little trickle, but the melting snow has turned it into a torrent.
Are they gonna be okay?
Sure, don't worry. Caribou are very strong swimmers. With all the traveling they do, they have to be.
Wow, they really are amazing.
Spring is also the time that animals have their families. After hiding away all winter, frogs suddenly return to their breeding pools to spawn.
They have babies in a pond? Talk about wet diapers.
And it's not just the frogs that are at it. The warmer temperatures bring forth a wealth of flower blooms that in turn attract a myriad of newly emerged insects to pollinate them. From bare soil and silence suddenly appears a carpet of rich color, a world reborn full of beauty and wonder. Bird song echoing among the leaf-laden branches as the birds busily collect gossamer and twigs to weave into their intricate nests.
What was all that about?
Sorry, I just kind of got carried away.
Yeah, and you should be.
What? Sorry?
No, carried away!
Henry, it's time for your report. Henry, it's time for your special report.
What? Now?
Yes, Henry, now.
Oh,
You are ready, aren't you?
of course I am. What was it about again?
You're supposed to be telling us all about how animals tell the time.
Oh, right. Here goes. Okay. So animals, especially birds, just seem to know exactly what time of year it is. When to have babies, when to migrate and stuff. And most people think this is because they have a natural alarm clock inside them. How am I doing so far?
So far, so good, Henry.
I am? Cool. However, most people would be wrong. In fact, birds never used to be able to tell the time. They never even used to go south for the winter until they discovered that you could tell the time by using the sun.
Wait a minute, Henry.
Unfortunately, sundials were real heavy, and only the really big birds like eagles could migrate because they were the only ones that could carry them. Then, some birds started migrating in flocks so they could carry the sundials between them with some rope, but it was still hard work, so they, invented little wrist-sized sundials. Yeah! The only trouble was that birds don't have wrists, so they invented the clock. But then, they were back to the old problem. I mean, have you seen the size of grandfather clocks? But then, some bird scientists came up with the idea of miniaturized electronic clocks, which was a great idea, except they couldn't afford the 10,000 miles of power cable. Of course, they could have used batteries, but they still would have had to carry a month's supply of batteries. They tried solar-powered clocks, but that meant they couldn't migrate at night. So in the end, they invented central heating and gave up trying to migrate and spent their winters inside watching TV instead. And that's straight from the lizard's mouth! So do I get an A or what?
Not even an or what?
Didn't I even get one bit right?
Not even one, Henry.
Rats.
Actually, many animals do have a natural alarm clock inside them.
Really? What happens when it goes off?
It's not a real clock. It just means that animals like Canada geese can read nature's signals, like the changing colors of the leaves, the first frost, and the shorter days, and know that winter's on its way.
So what you're saying is that animals sense the climatic and physical changes in the world around them.
Well, yes. And that's how they know exactly
When to pack up their swimwear and book themselves on the first flight to Maui.
I knew you'd blow it in the end. Geese have to fly south under their own steam. They fly thousands of miles, often at night, using the moon and stars to navigate, which isn't so easy when the weather's bad and the sky's clouded over.
Hey! Why aren't these guys flying south?
They're stuck in a blizzard. They'll have to wait till the weather clears before they set off again.
Okay, geese. This is the tower. You're cleared for takeoff.
I think they know that, Henry.
Yeah, I was just trying to help.
Henry, if they listened to you, they'd spend the winter watching TV and eating junk food.
And that's bad? Because
They're doing just fine, Henry. Look, they made it.
they flew all that way? For a field?
Ah, but it's a warmer field with lots of grass to eat and lots of friends to spend the winter with.
TV and pizza sounds better all the time.